Hello, everybody. My name is Ed. I'm in my armchair, and the smoking lamp is lit. And guess what I'm smoking today? I'll tell you. Look at this guy. Meerschaum. Beauteous. I like it. And the special thing about this, telling a little story, this is the first Meerschaum I ever had, I ever bought. I got this at the California State Fair. My sisters and I just shopping. Of course, there's also kind of like a swap meet going on too. And I wasn't in the money to have another pipe. Didn't have much money at that time. I was out of college, obviously working. I was in retail, but just getting started. And so, yeah, didn't quite have that much money. But you know what? I've never been good with money. So I saw this. A vendor was selling it. A bunch of pipes. Of course, it was brand new, pure white at the time. And never had a Meerschaum. Never smoked a Meerschaum. So it was a complete gamble in that sense. I didn't think there'd be any problem. And there wasn't. But I still remember my sisters, because this was at that time my most expensive pipe. And my sisters looked at me. It's kind of like, what are you doing, knucklehead? You know, you don't have the money for this. And I didn't. Well, I had enough on me. So yeah, I got it. Of course, at that time, I was in California. My parents were in California. I was visiting. So on vacation, my sisters were there. So this is also the first pipe I ever had smoking with my dad. Because before that, I really didn't need to bring pipes home with me on vacation. So by buying this there, I had the pipe, borrowed some of my dad's tobacco, and here we go. It's almost an umpal. You know, it's so radical. Not that I clench, but it just fits. I like it. Well, before we get going, everybody that's been following me knows that everything I do is very serious. Well, Dr. Bo, now the captain, noticed that. And so what they want to do is have a little variety to my videos. So I want to introduce you to the Slippery Plank Singers. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Mr. Sandman, boom, 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 get me a beer. Boom, 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 boom. I know you're busy, but I need it here. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom,
Mr.
boom, boom,
Sandman,
boom, 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 boom,
I
boom, boom,
gotta
boom, boom, boom.
know,
Boom, boom,
are
boom,
you
boom,
just
boom, boom,
lazy
boom,
'cause
boom,
you're
boom,
going
boom,
so
boom, boom, boom.
slow?
Boom, boom, boom,
So
boom, boom,
please
boom, boom,
put
boom,
on your
boom, boom,
magic
boom, boom.
spell.
Boom,
Give me
boom,
a
boom, boom,
beer
boom,
or
boom, boom,
go
boom, boom,
to...
boom.
Hey!
Have you ever felt like you have a memory, but it's a whole body memory? The feel, the temperature, the wind, the sound of the trees, what's going on in the environment. Can then that leads to what were you doing? I do have this, and especially at this time of year. Flat Cat, Lady Fire, doing a little gall. And wondering what you want to do. You know, what you do extra this year at this time of year. And the thing is, I can do the typical stuff, but this is something that happens definitely more in the fall. Right now, it's in the middle of fall, but when we had the first days of cool, crisp air, leaves fluttering, just making that sound that they do when there's just a slight breeze in the air, that brings me back to a time that I just loved so much, would be fall, when I was just a teenager. First in West Virginia, Evansville, Indiana, then here in Pennsylvania. You get that feeling. It just reminds me of the days with football. I mean, in lieu of studies, me and my friends, it's like always we're just outside in the evening, throwing a football. You're running and you're going through new fallen leaves. You just, there's something about that. I remember one of the first football games that was on this year. The weather was just perfect. And I felt that my whole body felt that memory. And that memory is me throwing a football around with my friends, you know. In Evansville, we used to burn our leaves. You could do that in those days. That was my job because I like to burn things. And so you have that smell of the burning leaves. Again, the temperature outside, the way it hits your body, the sun, how low it is. It's different in the sky than during the summer. All of these things. So at this time of year, one of the things I do is, I hate to say, this happens more in the fall than any other time. And I just sit back and just kind of remember those days. So Flat Cap's asking, what are we doing these days? Well, yeah, typical stuff. But this is a little something extra for me because, again, you can't, your body remembers. It's just not a mental thing. It's the everything. And I just go with it. Whether it's sitting outside, maybe smoking a pipe, again, hearing the leaves rustling in the wind, the sound of the leaves on the ground, the chill in the air, the crispness in the air. I look forward to when that happens because it doesn't happen all the time. But there'll be times when it's just happens and I take advantage of it. Especially with a pipe. Because that smell, although I was talking about burning, it isn't pipe smoking, but still it's that smoke in the air. So that's for flat cap lady fire. Maybe a little different than what they're expecting. But you know me. Finally, Ragamuffin, or Rag-A-Muffin Piper, 150 subs. I got on, I think, kind of early for him. And he's doing a little something for 150. So congrats. Check Ragamuffin out. Ragamuffin Piper. He's asking about us, tell us about us Thanksgiving story. And I got one. Because, as you know, I was mainly in retailing. Both at the store level and corporate level. And when I was at corporate level, I was still involved with the registers, sales going on. And so even though I was at corporate, I was working the day after Thanksgiving. I was often working a lot, mainly on the phones for anything that happened at any of the stores. I like to say that I was the guy that the buck stopped with me. And we took care of stuff. I had the authority to, and we just got it taken care of to take care of the customers. So even at corporate, I didn't have really a Thanksgiving other than just maybe that day. And even later, it came that we started working on Thanksgiving Day, so I even worked that day. So I went home. I graduated from college in December. So I went home to my family. I don't think my sisters were there then, but at least, my dad and mom, Thanksgiving dinner with them. I think my brother was around. And then, because of, again, the retailing, I went 31 years without seeing my family for Thanksgiving. I was working. And in the meantime, unfortunately, my dad passed away. And I finally got my boss. I was in kind of a position to take off, although had to arrange for some other people to be taking care of what I was doing. To go home for Thanksgiving. At that time, my dad and mom had moved to Pennsylvania, close, about 3 miles from where I'm at now, in Yardley, Pennsylvania. My dad had passed away. I had a brother there, and since I was able to get home for Thanksgiving, my sister in Washington, D.C., other sister came out, my brother who was in Colorado, all joined us, and my brother in Pennsylvania, who had a nice big house with one of those separate dining rooms, his kids, my sister's kid. We had the first Thanksgiving dinner in over 31 years for me. And it was perfect. It was the right house, the right people, the right time. The only thing wrong, yes, my dad was not there. But to have a family gathering at Christmas or Thanksgiving was something I just hadn't had. Wasn't part of my life. My parents had always been somewhere besides Colorado, so even when I had Thanksgiving Day off, probably just got a few friends that didn't have family, and we got together, and usually it was me hosting it. But the family gathering, which hadn't happened since I was in high school. So that's a very memorable Thanksgiving. Everybody there. So that's the Thanksgiving I want to tell you about. Thanks for listening. So that's for Ragamuffin, Flat Cap, and Lady Fire. And also, the pipe story was really for Brutalenough. So I thank you all for doing that. I will have to say yes, thank you to the Slippery Plank Singers. Anyhow, I hope you like this. And if you did, do hit the like button. And if you don't like this or didn't like this, you are not getting to heaven. So may your smoking lamp always be lit. Take care out there.